My name is I am not a timid person, and I have always prided myself on my steel resolve. But that night, in the decrepit house at the end of the dead-end alley, tore apart every scientific belief I ever held. It all started with a stupid bet. My friends dared me to spend the night at Villa number 13, a place rumored to be cursed. The villa of the artist Bach. Bach was a talented yet eccentric artist who specialized in painting vivid, unnerving portraits until he mysteriously vanished nearly 50 years ago. People said Bach's soul was consumed by his own creations. That night, the wind was bitterly cold, carrying the stench of mildew and moss. The rusted iron gate squealed. Ket. When I pushed it open, like the groan of a colossal creature awakened, my flashlight beam cut through the long, gloomy corridor. The air was thick, heavy, making me feel as if I was diving deep underwater. I searched for the room where Bach was rumored to have worked, the abandoned exhibition room on the second floor. The dust-covered oak door was carved with a pair of large, distorted eyes. When I opened the door, a blast of icy air rushed out, colder than the outside, making the hair on the back of my neck stand up. The room was vast and empty, with only a single object placed in the center, covered by a large white sheet. Although the flashlight beam was only a weak circle of light, I could feel a powerful, dark presence radiating from beneath the cloth. I walked closer, my trembling hand pulling the sheet away. It was a painting, not an oil painting, nor a pencil sketch. It was a self-portrait of Bach, but it was painted with a thick, dark red liquid, almost like dried blood. The eyes in the painting were wide, bloodshot, staring straight at me with an intense mixture of resentment and agony. The most horrifying part, the painting seemed damp. Despite having endured decades, I stepped back. Right then, I heard it, Ket. K-E-T-T-T-T. It was the sound of a paintbrush. Very faint, very close. I spun around, sweeping the flashlight across the empty room. No one was there. I tried to reassure myself, it's just an old house. The wind. And I tried to turn my back on the painting, but the eyes in the portrait seemed to magnetically lock onto mine. The paintbrush sound returned, clearer this time. K-E-T-T-T. K-E-T-T-T. A, and a whisper. It wasn't a voice, but a series of hoarse, choking sounds, like someone desperately trying to breathe in pain, emanating from the wall behind the painting. I pressed my ear against the cold wall. Closer. This time, I clearly distinguished the words, tiny but bone-chilling. Why did you not save me? And why? I froze.
Why?
My name. How did it know my name? My entire body was rigid with fear. As I struggled with the terror, trying to convince myself it was an illusion, something else happened. The eyes in the painting suddenly wept a drop of fresh blood. Slowly, the bright red, glossy drop of blood rolled down Bach's desiccated face, then fell onto the wooden floor, forming a long, gruesome trail. At the same time, the whisper behind the wall became more frantic, more agonizing. It hurts. It hurts so much. My blood. My blood. You will be the next painting. The room door suddenly slammed shut. Panicked, I rushed to twist the doorknob, but it was locked from the outside. I turned back to look at the painting. The scene almost made me collapse. The painting was changing. Bach's gaunt face was slowly giving way to another face. A younger face, and a familiar one. The dark red pigment began to spread, not just around the eyes, but across the mouth, which was hanging open as if trying to scream. Amidst the terrifying cat of the paintbrush, I saw my own image, with eyes full of horror and tears, slowly emerging on the layer of dried blood. Every stroke was an act of torture, an act of possession. I could not stand still anymore. The extreme fear morphed into pure frenzy. I screamed, kicking hard at the door. Useless. I grabbed the flashlight, smashing it wildly against the painting. But the light went out. The entire room plunged into absolute darkness. The whisper behind the wall was now a sinister snicker, echoing throughout the room. Useless. It's too late. In the darkness, I felt a terrifying icy chill on the back of my neck. A cold, skeletal hand, like dry branches, placed itself on my shoulder. I dared not turn my head. I only felt long, sharp fingernails gently puncturing my skin, and that whisper, "Now," sounded right next to my ear. "You have seen me. You must stay, so I can finish the masterpiece, the painting." And I gathered all my strength, let out a desperate scream, and lunged toward the door. With the extraordinary power of survival instinct, I kicked hard at the lock. Crash, the door burst open. I tumbled down the stairs, not caring which step my feet touched, only running away from that cursed house. The next morning, when my friends found me curled up in a bush, I couldn't speak a word. I suffered from a high fever and delirium for an entire week. When I woke up, I tried to convince myself it was just a nightmare caused by stress. But, when I took a shower, I looked at my shoulder, where that cold hand had touched me. There were 3 long, dried claw marks, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw my own eyes. They looked strikingly similar to the A's in the blood painting. I dare not sleep anymore, because every night, when the city falls silent, I hear the sound of the paintbrush, cat, cat, and a whisper, faint and small, but which always makes me shiver. Not done yet. I need more. And I need more. That painting is still waiting for me to be completed.